Hey guys, this is Nique and Ress, and this is She Wolf Alchemy. And today we're looking at a statement that says, "You don't know how much I would pass to stay happy with you." And now, the reason that we are talking about this topic, if you follow us on Instagram, you know that I had posted a video where a guy was talking about he heard somebody say this and it just like really hit him. And I thought it was really interesting topic because I think a lot of people have been through this where you love a person and you want to make it work with them. And so you, after a while, just start convincing yourself to look past things. Because as long as I don't touch on this subject, as long as I don't look under that rock, as long as I don't flip over this rug, we can remain happy. But being in a relationship like that, whether that's a relationship with a partner, a family member, a friend, your career, it gets slippery real quick. And sometimes it's dual-sided. For some of us, ignoring the things can feel like survival. But the problem with this is that over time, that can turn to self-erasure. So Nick, why don't you start us off?
So let's talk about what this behavior actually is. Sometimes we ignore flaws or bad behaviors because love makes us crave harmony and connection. And it's just better for us to be like, oh, I won't say that to keep the peace in different situations. We can ignore things to give us illusion that we have some type of control. Like if I don't bring it up, we can stay happy. We can stay happy, we can laugh. I won't start any problems. But then also in the moment, it just feels like a shortcut to stability. Like if I don't bring this up, it's harmony, we're good, everybody's happy. But then you
Yeah.
think like, am I really happy?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I I don't think I've done this in love. You know me, I love speaking up. I love
Yeah.
being like, "Hey." But I feel like I've definitely done this with friends for
Uh-huh.
sure, and I've definitely done this, I feel like, in my career.
Yeah.
Like, I know with friends, this has came to me, and if you guys are longtime listeners, you know I've said this several times on the show. I'm a believer in certain things that I weigh out, is the pain gonna create a positive change, right? So, like, if I bring this topic up and I know it's gonna be painful, I know it's gonna be difficult, is me bringing it up actually going to create some type of positive change? Like, because if I'm just bringing up something that you can't do nothing about and it's just going to be hurtful, a lot of times to me, I don't feel like that's worth it, right?
Mhm.
But if it's something that's like, no, I'll give you an example, right? I had a friend that was struggling through something. And when they were going through something, this thing, like their mood switch. And they were just kind of mean. They're just kind of mean. They're just kind of grumpy. And it low key always felt like they were picking on me when we talked. And so I just kind of pulled back. Now, it became like a point in time where they noticed that I was pulling back and I had an option to make of like, okay, well, do I want to bring this up? And I decided like to bring up some of it, but not all of it. And the reason I had to decide on that is because like I know that this was due to a particular thing that they could not help. I know they were going through something. I know that this was a particular time. I know it was limited too. Like I know there's a time frame on this, and I felt like they cannot help this. And I already know they feel like people are on their side. And I also know their personality, not great with constructive feedback. And so for me, it was like, I know this is going to be over in like 2 months. I know they're going through this thing. I already know they feel like they're being picked on. I already know they feel like they aren't having the allies that they want. And because I know this thing, and I know they need to vent, and I know they don't have a lot of people to do that to. For me, I just chose the decision at the time to be like, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's going to be over in a little bit. They already have all these pressures on them. They already feel like some of the people that they really want to trust, they can't talk to about certain things. It literally just felt like it was not worth making them feel worse for something that I knew was temporary and I knew would balance itself out once they got some things together. Now,
Mhm.
was that the right decision? I don't know. There are times, sometimes I look back and I go, maybe I should have brought that up. But I have been in a similar situation as this person. And I remember how I felt during that time. And I remember I was also kind of mean during that time. And I think that would have been like, okay, here's another thing. All right, fine. It may have been something I should have addressed, but like I just was like, I don't know. For me, it just did not seem worth it. It felt like for me, okay, I got 2 more months. You need an ally, you need someone to listen. But if after this things is over and it's still a thing, that's when we need to have a little bit of a talk. So I know
Mhm.
for me, that has kind of how it played out with friends, where it's just like sometimes I do the weighing out and I'm just like, I feel like this is gonna self-correct itself. I don't feel like it's really worth the fight.
I do, I do it with everybody. I do it. I mean, I think this comes with me.
I thought you were about to say, because you started, and I was like, first of all, time out, edit. We're gonna have to put an edit in here because this is also your area. This is also your area.
I think it just comes with me being a people pleaser, but I don't think I'm there as much as I used to. Now I think I be saying stuff about too much stuff because I don't like to let it sit on me. Because you think you like what you would say is self correct, but me, I need to say it because low key I have resentment issues. So
Mhm.
it just builds up, and then I
Yeah,
get angry, and then I start yelling. So it just doesn't really fit for me not to say anything. Because sometimes it may self-correct, but then I don't forget that it's self-correct because I still feel like you
the
disrespect
anger.
me in that moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
So now I just like learn like I have to say it when I calm myself down and I have to say it then. I do that. I think I best thing to do in all areas of life, work, school, whatever. But like with work, I started to get better at it. I got tested a lot at my first professional job.
yeah,
So it was like I won't never let nobody run on me on that way. So I tell people in interviews, if you have to tell me something or if I have to correct something, please let me know. Please let me know on the front
yeah,
end. Because whatever they ask you that question about something or whatever,
yeah,
this is what I need. Because if I don't get this, I'm going to be triggered. I'm going to
yeah,
be triggered. Because I was in a job where I just didn't say anything. And
yeah,
that, yeah, it messed with a lot of stuff. So I
yeah.
learned, I have grown that it just all messes with your mental health and it's not really happy. I'm not really happy. I'm really angry and everybody else is happy around me. And now I'm angry that you guys are happy because I was being quiet. So
I
and so,
think
but it's not really their fault because I didn't say anything. Now I had to learn that too.
that part. I think we're gonna talk about that
Mhm.
part later too, because it's like whenever resentment comes up, but you was the one ignoring things. Like at some point, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
but you didn't say anything. But
Yeah.
before we get, I do want to go back to like the career thing because yeah, this is one I struggle with heavily, heavily. When I was young, when I was a kid, somebody very, very close to me that I love very, very dearly, like just went through a career massacre, where like they were, it was like an unjust witch hunt essentially, and I was front row to it, and it really put in me like, don't trust these fucking systems. These systems aren't for you. You can be their star player. The system is not for you. You can be the one carrying the company. The system is not for you. And I learned that just very, very early. And so I think sometimes when I'm having stuff go wrong, like stuff at jobs, I'm like, this is on the up and up. I will start with the procedures, but once I start feeling like, I feel like you're playing with me, I'm plotting. I won't even lie. I'm plotting. Plotting. Sometimes the plot is just, oh, y'all don't even got to worry. I'm gonna be gone in 2 weeks. Don't even worry about it, sweetheart. And sometimes the plot looks like, all right, well, we're about to set this up for somebody to get exposed because what you're not about to do, what you're not about to do is play on my time and make it seem like this was a me issue.
Yeah.
Um, and I talked to a friend about this actually, like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, because she had something that happened at her last job where like they really set her up. Told her job was secure because her job was grant funded. And she was like, hey, we only got too much months. Do I need to start looking for a new job? Because at the time they're like, we might extend it. And they're like, no, no, you're good, you're good. And then they didn't. And
Mhm.
then she was like, okay, I'll start looking for a new job. And they're like, no, 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 we're gonna put you on another position. It's just that we're waiting on the money for that grant. And then when we get that money, we'll just switch you over. And so they put her in
Mhm.
the position. This position paid like half of what she made. And she was just like,
But
okay,
no position.
yeah, that they switched her into. And like for her, it was a matter of like, I told y'all, I asked beforehand. Like I was gonna finish out my contract. I had a contract, but I was like, okay, hey, there's a option to extend. You said you were gonna extend. If not, cool. Let me start, working on my way to figure something out. And she was just like, I made myself as available as possible. I was very open and honest with you guys about like, because she was waiting for a renewal of a contract, and they told her, "Yep, it's coming, it's coming." She's like, "Okay," because I just need to know, are we going to renew or not, so I can know if I need to put myself back on the market. And they're like, "No, we got you. We're going to." And then they just kept stringing her along, and they kept like acting like, "Oh, it's this. Just give us time, and we're gonna blah blah blah." And I feel like because I got a little bit of like work pain, some work resentment. Um, Seeing those type of situations, I'm like, I'm not even gonna give you the time.
Mhm.
Once I start seeing like it feels like I'm replaceable to you guys, that I'm gonna treat this place like it's also replaceable to me. I'm
Yeah.
not a big believer in like I'm gonna show up and do my best of my ability at my job, but I'm not gonna kill myself for my job.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna go hard for my job. I'm not gonna like defend my job if it does something crazy. Girl, I told you about that, right? Because I definitely had a job where it was crazy. It was crazy. There was not some crazy stuff. They was doing some weird stuff. And I had a coworker who just defended them like it was her baby. Just defended them. Just was like, well, maybe this and that. I don't think it's fair for us to make. Actually, I've had this happen more than once.
But it's
And
always
I
that
was,
one coworker though.
yeah, yeah. And then what happened is like, oh, it's so funny how the universe works. It was literally like a week later when they start having issues personally with the company, and then saw how the company was treating them. And they're like, but what? What about our code of ethic? What about our models? And you're like, yeah, yeah, girl, we told you they don't give a fuck about those code of ethics.
But then, yeah, people come in new just bright eye, bushy
Mhm.
tail, whatever. They
Well,
don't
but
understand.
also, I think sometimes also with coworkers that's been there forever, like that not going to leave my job type person. They've been there for 25 years. Because I
Mhm.
definitely had a coworker where like they had been with this company for 25 years. And I had got a little birdie came in my ear, was like, yo, hey, just so you know, this is about to be a setup. And they were just like, yo, I let you know they're gonna come through and they're gonna do a clean sweep. And I was like, bet. I made a plan. And I told my coworker, like, hey, just
It's
FYI,
like something you can't take with you, sis.
look, look.
Yeah.
FYI. And they were like, no, that's how rumors get started. And let's not do that. I was like, yeah, cool. I ain't tell nobody else, but I was telling you so you could be. And I left. I left,
Mhm.
got out of there, went about my life. And they came through, and their first day, they fired half the supervisors. Like, in fact, I was walking into the office that day and I saw our head of IT, and I was like, hey. And he was like, hey, maybe we can catch lunch someday. And he was just like laughing. And I was like, okay. And then I was confused. In case you're wondering, I was confused because I got on his nerves. Like, I was fucking up my computer every 3 business days. And he was just like, Russ, just stop touching it. Like, what are you doing? Why does it keep escalating all the way to me at the head? So when he said that, I was like, what's going on? I am the pain in his parlor. And then when we got into our office, we just saw a lot of people crying and a lot of people just moving around. And within the first hour, like nobody was getting work done because we're like, what the fuck is happening? And we found out, oh yeah, he let go half the supervisors.
Like he knows what to do. Like,
Yeah, but we told you. And we tried to tell you. And I'm just a big believer in like, unless it's your company, don't be out here defending these companies with your heart.
and
Don't be out here trying to.
uh,
What I'm saying is, they don't need to know your next move. You need to always have a backup plan. You need to always have the exit plan.
mhm. You
Sometimes
have
it's hard. Trust me, I get that.
to.
Trust me, I get that. But when you see the weirdness,
Mhm.
and I think particularly I will state companies jobs a little bit differently than I would anything else on our list. And I want to be very clear, this is not therapeutic advice, okay? It's
No,
probably not
no,
healthy.
no,
This is probably not healthy. This is
no.
rest from dating. This is how she feels about the subject. This is not rest with the letters behind her name. But I
Dating, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I just personally always feel like which unless it's your company, they don't need to know everything you're doing. You don't need to have a conversation about everything that you have knowledge to. Some things you need to just keep into your back pocket and have as a reminder. It's like, okay, this is what's up and move accordingly. Now I know there are some people who's like, no, and because we were talking, how can you solve things and blah blah blah. But like I feel like then obviously you never work for our government or corporate America. So I'm not even gonna advocate for like keeping it real there. Be real to people you have to be real to, like clients.
Yeah.
Everything else,
Just be strategic in those jobs. Like, you still have to play the game until you have something else.
yeah,
Like, you have to play the game until you have something
yeah.
else.
I,
Yeah.
you know, I have worked with people who really struggle with that. Like, why can't we all just be honest? Why can't we all just blah? And it's like,
Mhm.
"Well," and really have struggled and like, well, I'm gonna be me and blah blah blah. I'm like, hey, good for you, but they're gonna keep fucking you over.
Yes.
And
You'll keep losing them
more power to
jobs.
you, but
Yeah.
you gotta be, it's one of those areas where I feel like it is okay, to a certain extent. We're kind of getting off subject because it stands looking past certain things.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, let's get back on.
yeah. um, I personally believe it's okay to a certain extent to look past certain things. If you need to keep that position, you need to keep your foot in the game until you're able to exit, until you're be able to create a plan. But your whole career should not be you looking past things. If you feel
Mhm.
like your whole career is you being like, ooh, world domination. Hey, well, that's it seems like they know what they're doing. Like you should at some point be like, okay, I peeped that and maybe I don't want to get involved, but I need to get my way out. Career is not an
Mhm.
exception where it is like, well, I'm just gonna keep looking past, especially y'all, especially for those of y'all who are in those careers that are like really harmful to your health.
Mhm.
There's so many people that are like, I never got migraines before I work here. Dang, I'm always sick when I'm here. That's not something to look past.
Not at all. Not at all. In love, it can look like just like ignoring like the late replies or the half-hearted efforts because at least they're here. At least they're communicating with me, even though it's 10 hours later. Or yes, and just like ignoring all the things that you know really mean something to you, and then just like allowing it just to be okay to have somebody around. I know I could be this could be me sometimes, but like as of late, I'm gonna say, like, "You see my text. What the fuck you doing?"
Yeah. When you said this, I was kind of in myself like, I don't know, Nick. You be going off on me. Like, if anybody's going off of it, I be blunt and assertive and then like very clear with my boundaries and move on. But you be like, nah, I want to hurt his feelings first. I want to I want to make sure
I'm
I
like, the thing sometimes I don't get it until I look back, like, "Yeah, you coulda went a little softer." And I be wondering why I didn't feel some sort of way, but
can I just say
uh,
I'm not gonna say the person's name too
uh,
young. What's that man that was out here with the arms?
with the orange?
No. But I remember when the first time you went off on that man, and you did not tell me at first, and you were just like, I don't know, he's acting weird. And then you're like, hold on. And then y'all had a conversation, and you were just like, because I was asking you, I was like, well, I mean, why was he acting weird? You were like, I mean, I don't know. We had a talk, but I was just telling my feelings. And that's how you presented it to me the first time. I was like, okay, girl, yeah. Yeah, girl, he tripping. Yeah, I'm team you, girl. And then when you told me about the conversation y'all had after, when he called you back and was like, hey, we need to talk because I didn't even know you had that side and it caught me off guard. And it was like 4 days later before you told me. And he was like, I mean, I might have been yelling. Nique, what the fuck did you do? No, no, I was just being honest about my feelings. It did scare him. Yeah, yeah, that's why he called it. He was like terrified. And I was just like, Nique,
Yeah,
we have talked about you having conversations when you were in your feelings. You know you're not allowed to do
I
that.
just don't need to do it. I just don't need to do it.
You don't.
And
You're
then
very
recently
passionate.
I am. And then recently, like, I was on the phone and it happened again, and I said he said, "What's wrong?" And I was like this. I was literally like, "Hmm." But at the end of it, I know was yelling a little bit at the end, but I started off really well. I started off really good. Like, really good. Like, da 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 da. What do you think about that? And what do you think about this? And don't. Then it started escalating. And then when they just be so quiet, but this is not even funny because I need to work on it. But
You do need to work on that.
I
You
think I
are
do.
better. You are way
I am
better.
way better, but I feel like a whole bunch of recent events is making me get back to my old self. Cause I got real nice.
Yeah, girl, same, same.
This out the sink. But yeah,
I miss
I don't
turnip rest. She was so
yeah.
fun. Oh my god.
No, okay. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So this may look like being okay with them not responding to your text or not keeping up with appointments that you guys made or canceling on your last minute and you're just like, well, they're here, they're here, they're here. But what is that really doing to you when you really think about it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the problem with it and with love is like kind of how you mentioned when we were talking about friends. It can build up in resentment because this is not like your job where I clock out and I go somewhere else. I
Mhm,
got, the weekend off. This is not your friends where you can literally space out time. You do not need to talk to your friends especially if you're an adult. A
mhm,
lot of us don't talk to our friends every single day. I do talk to
mhm.
you every single day, but you're the only person I think I talk to every single
Yes,
day.
you're insane. I don't talk to anybody else every single day, except for maybe my
It's
sister.
routine at this point. Brush
Yeah.
your teeth, send Nique a nonsensical 7-minute long voice message. Um, but like with your partners, you usually have more of an obligation for more communication. You
Yeah,
usually are
yeah.
seeing them more if you guys aren't already living together. And so
Mhm.
it's like that resentment can build up so quick and so fast. And you can find yourself, I know with me, when I do have resentment, it always comes out passive aggressively. Always. And here's the thing, I am not consciously trying to do that. It's not like I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, slam this door. I'm going walk ahead, and while he's right behind me, Imma slam the door in his face, like, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, I thought you were still gonna stand over there." Like, it's not that type of thing. It's literally like, I remember, I was dating somebody, and, we had got into an argument not argument, I don't really argue, but we had a big disagreement, and I remember they didn't wanna they didn't think they were wrong, I didn't think I was wrong, but they were wrong. They were wrong, very wrong, and anyway, so we just kind of came to a like, well, this is how I feel. He was like, this is how I feel. And so, life has to continue. And it was like maybe a week or two later. And he brought up to me, he was like, okay, we didn't have to talk about this again because obviously you're still mad. And I was like, what? It's not even on my, like, I don't even remember it being on my mind. But he was like, you've been short. Usually I get a like nice, well, witty, funny reply back. He was like, you've been giving up. Damn, bro, that's crazy. And for me, it's just like, I feel like talking to you. That's the only thing going in my head. It can build up that resentment. And it doesn't have to mean like I'm actively remembering to be passive aggressive. It sneaks out in little ways.
Yeah. For me, I talk things out in my head before I say it, but then it never comes out 'cause it's a nice place inside of my head, but it just never comes out how I want it to come out. I gotta explain
Do the
my
voice.
emotions and
Do the voice.
everything.
What is the voice? Because I'm curious.
He was like, let me think. I'm trying to think. Because it'd be so nice. I'd be like, you remember when I said such and such and such and such? And how I told you that I don't like that. And how you just did exactly what I don't like. Like I just be going through and I be saying it's so nice.
Yeah.
And so it don't be like fast talk. When I get hyped, I talk
No.
really fast.
Yeah.
It'll be like that.
I
So
just
I
want you to
probably
know
needed
that
some role
version
plays in
wasn't
the
all
mirror.
that nice towards the end either.
Huh?
I said, I just want you to know that version wasn't all that nice towards the end there. You still put some bass in your voice towards the end. Okay, okay.
It's hard. Maybe I should practice in the mirror.
I told you, I still remember. I know I've told the story a million times, guys. But the first time I heard you cuss him out, because you would tell me, like, yeah, and I cussed him out. And in my head, I'm like, Neek. She probably was like, oh, you stop it. You know I love you so much. In my head, that was you. And the first time I was driving, he was in the car with us, and you cussed this man out, I turned down the music. I buckled my seatbelt. I was like, I didn't say nothing for the next 20 minutes. Like, it terrified me. I was like, oh, Nick be getting down. Okay.
And
Okay.
I really don't say a lot of cuss words, but I be going off.
You be going off. You be going off like somebody's mama. Just
I
like we all
do.
feel bad. We
I
knew we shouldn't have
do.
done that.
And we was sitting in that car, and I was like, "Why she ain't talking?" Because I don't be like, "Like, is she
I didn't know
okay?"
you had that in you. I was just hearing lore, stories about what you did, and that was my first
Yeah.
time actually seeing it, and I was
And
like, "Oh,
that's crazy because I was so pregnant by the end.
I know, I know."
Yeah.
But
Mm.
going back to but me when we're pregnant, because I also think that probably played a big role. Because you were like you were in your 3rd trimester? Because that was May.
Yeah, I was a big girl by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hot, you probably aggravated, like, "I don't even wanna leave the house, but now I gotta do this extra chore."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how I got there. Maybe I flew. I don't know. I was big though.
Yeah. But yeah, it builds up that resentment, and it's like, how long can a love built on resentment last? Because
Mhm.
I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, when I have a lot of resentment, it kills the love.
Yeah, it
After a
does.
while, that, "Oh my gosh, I would do anything for you," can turn real quick to like, "I don't
Don't
know why
touch
our
me.
breast's still here."
I don't. Yeah. Like you're just laying by him, and you're like, "Bro, why are you in my bed? Or why am I in your bed?" Like it just gets to a point. So it's just like it isn't worth it. It's easier to talk about it front end. But for real, I do like I do try now to talk about it firsthand, but then it's like if they do it again, that's when I kind of get to my resentment part. So I do talk nice first, I think. But hey, it gets there. And it shouldn't get there if I speak up on the front end and not let things just go for happiness. And it's not really truly happiness.
I agree. I feel like over the last 2 or 3 years, I have been communicating more romantically than
Hmm.
I have in my entire life, and it's exhausting. It is exhausting, and I get it because I say that, and then I'll have a friend be like, "Girl, you are barely communicating. Like, we're proud of you, but that's not a lot." But to me, it feels like a lot, and it's very, very exhausting, but also it allowed me to move through situations so much quicker
Hmm.
because I said my piece and I can go. Yeah, I know I used to love dipping out on folks. I used to love being like, "You figure it out," but I'm a ghost. You can play
Yeah.
with my block button if you want to. But like when you are like, "I'm not gonna look past this. We are gonna communicate." Because I think sometimes also in relationships, there are things that it feels silly to address,
Yeah. Yeah.
even though it hurts you a lot.
Hmm. And then I'm thinking, do I have to address everything? And if I'm,
Yeah.
I had to question myself, like, if you're addressing everything, is this person is the person for you? But nobody's perfect, so it's just like it's a lot of thoughts going in my head, like what to address, what not to address. Are you just keep addressing anything? Are you just trying to change him to the mold him into the person you want, or do you just have to? It's a give and take for sure, but it's just like me, I try to figure that out every time. That's why I hate the dating situations because it's like you have to figure out this stuff every freaking time for a new
Mhm.
person. It's irritating. It's irritating.
It's
So,
very irritating. I would say though, I think it's a art, it's a balance of grace and doing that self check-in because I believe you don't have to address every single thing. I feel like you can exhaust a person. You can make a person feel like,
mhm,
damn, do I do anything right? Because there's
mhm,
always going to be little things, right?
mhm,
So I believe in offering grace where it's just like, you know what? I know he got a bad review at work. I know he just did not get his bonus. I know that he hurt his knee when he was playing with the boys. I know his mama's sick right now. He's just a little quiet because he's going through a lot. This is not the time for me to be like, hey, I don't feel prioritized. The
mhm.
man's going through a lot. You know, you being
Yeah,
able to give
yeah,
people grace when you're like, is the reality of thing this is them purposely hurting me? Or is this me kind of having an anxious attachment style and needing him to validate that we still good my feelings? This might not be the time in like that type of situation.
yeah,
And I think on the other side of that too, checking in with yourself, like, dang, I don't feel good though. like, dang, we're at this party, everybody's laughing, and this is not the time. But like, I feel really embarrassed. Like, I literally want to shrink. I think those are the moments where it's like, these are the things that's like a no for me. These are things I can't tolerate. Always address your can't tolerates.
Yes, but that's hard for me because it's so I feel like I find a lot of things like that. And I'm like, "Are you tripping?" That's what I'm saying, like
Well, but that's why, you know me, I'm a believer before you get in a situation, make yourself a list of like, okay, this is what I'm willing to deal with. This is what I'm not. I do that with jobs. I do that with friends. I do that with partners.
Mhm.
Like, so that way, when things are happening, I have my solid list. Cause I think when you don't have one, everything can seem like it's supposed to be a part of the list. But if I
That's
go
true.
in and before anything happens, I'm just like, I know I ain't doing no cheating.
Mm,
I'm not doing getting no cussed at or yelled at. I will not feel threatened.
mhm.
And I will not tolerate lying.
That's what I say
Those are
liars
my
are the
things.
biggest thing, like, let's just be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
Those are things that if any one of these come up, apparently I gotta have a conversation with you first before I do what I want to do. But those are
Yes.
the things that's like, I can't look past that.
Uh-huh. Mhm. Yeah. That's the best way to do it. And that's the way I probably should do it, but wait for it. Save a lot of lives. That's like
You know what's on your top. Have no emotional hangups from past relationship.
relationships. Yes.
Mhm. That way, the
Yeah.
minute it comes up, it's like, nah, I already told myself.
Oh,
I
you
already
just
told myself.
you just got divorced. Oh, we good. Oh, you just
Mhm.
got out of a relationship 2 months ago. Oh, we good. Like,
Yep.
no. No.
Yep.
I'm learning and I'm growing. Let's move on. Okay. So another thing that we sometimes do is like overlook family situations, like overlooking like a mom's constant criticism or siblings disrespecting you or just disrespecting arguments with like your sisters or your aunts and just putting off like that's just family. But this is another thing that will build like resentment or you might like for me sometimes I have to take space away,
Mhm.
which is okay, but it's not addressing the underlying issue
Mhm.
because stuff will keep coming up and then it kind of piles and piles and piles and then I'm sad again. And it's like, wait, I didn't talk about the last situation. So we can't really fix this. So this is also a hard thing for me too because I love
Mhm.
my family. I think the people that I talk to the most or get stuff off my chest with more is
Mhm.
relationships.
Mhm.
Then it's friendship, but last is definitely family for some reason for me. So
No, I mean, and I think also it makes sense because a lot of times in families, we grow up and we're kind of like assigned roles. And so you're
mhm.
taught very early that's just how she is.
Mhm.
And it's like
Mhm.
that has been like putting to you since you were one. And so like it's real hard. It's like, dang, I do not actually like coming around her. She's actually kind of mean. I get anxious when I call her because I never know what she gonna say. I'm not allowed to say anything back, or it's out of my character to get at her
Yeah.
back. And it's like, but this is what we do. We all
Mm,
ignore. We all let her have that.
mhm.
And again, that's how you build up to like, you know what? I don't even want to come around. I'm gonna avoid this person as much as possible. Like you said, I think with families, this is the hard. I think families are the hardest to have this with because for a lot of us, not all of us, and not all situations, it is like I'm kind of stuck with you. So if I make things uncomfortable, are you going to be mature enough to forgive? Or now are you going to send mass texts as rest there? I'm not coming.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like if it was a friend or it was a partner, well, we can separate. We can just stop going to the same
Mhm.
places. We can stop hanging out, and I don't have to deal with this tension. But with family,
You just don't yeah. You don't wanna
yeah,
mess up the harmony of
yeah,
family. And that's is
yeah.
what it is, like
I have like one of my families because I have three families, and one of my families, like I know because of the role I was very aware I was assigned. The role exhausted me. The role exhausted me, and it felt like with this particular side of my family, it felt like my role had a lot to do with putting my feelings, putting my exhaustion, putting kind of how things made me feel to the side to
mhm.
make sure, the other people were
Good,
good
yeah.
and to be the fixer. And so it got to the point where it's like hanging with this side of my family, I felt anxious. I love them so very, very much. But it was like, I didn't like, it would be things. And they're just like, oh, let's do this random thing. And automatically my heart would be like, no. because I don't want to deal with them. Da, da, da. And here's the thing: it's not that I don't have fun with them, but it's like going back into that role, and it's like because I was taught for years to look past the fact that this exhausts you, look past the fact that this is you going back. You're not getting a break from being a therapist, from being a social worker. You got to be in social work mode 100% of the time with them. And like if you look past that and you break, so first let me explain this. There is something that we call like a family ecosystem, right? And just think about other ecosystems, right? Ecosystem, there's multiple parts to make it work. And what happens when you have a part that stops working? It affects all the other parts because I don't know sports and I don't know cars. Hold on, I gotta think of a good metaphor. Okay, yeah, I'm still gonna use cars. I don't know cars, so y'all work with me, right? But like if I'm driving and mom is the go pedal, daddy is the wheel, brother is the gas, but I'm the brakes and I decide to stop working, oh, that's gonna create a pet crash. Yes, they can go. Yes, there's gas. Yes, you can steer, but we need that brake. And that's how kind of ecosystem happens. It basically says, to get equilibrium, that when one part decides to be a different part or decides it no longer wants to be a part of the ecosystem, it creates a imbalance. And
Mhm,
when you're in that balance, that ecosystem has to figure a way to balance itself back out. And sometimes it's scary because you don't know how it's going to balance itself out. Is the balance of myself of me speaking about this and me saying, no, I no longer want to be the enabler. I no longer want to be that role.
mhm,
And I'm not going to look past that. You keep putting me in positions where I have to enable folks, where I have to look past folks. I have to play the rescue when I know these people deserve it. Or let me use another one. I don't want to be the golden child. I don't want to be the hero. I don't want to be the person that like is treated differently. I don't want to be the person that's treated like on this pedestal. I don't want to feel if I make one mistake, I'm letting the whole entire family down and I have to carry all this weight up on me. If I decide not to be that, then what happens? Like sometimes what happens, especially in family and family ecosystem, if I'm always the scapegoat, the black sheep,
mhm, mhm.
and I'm the person that everybody gets to blame, if I remove myself from the system, what happens? Because they have a 34-year history of having somebody to blame so no one else takes accountability. Do you think they're just going to start taking accountability off stuff? No. Me not looking past this behavior might cause a whole other system to happen.
Mhm.
They might find a new scapegoat, a new innocent person ain't got nothing to do, and now all of a sudden they're a scapegoat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so hard with the family is like, dang, we have this whole ecosystem, and a part of our ecosystem is that I look past these. And if I decide not to, do I break the system? And the truth of the matter is, yes, sometimes you do, but sometimes those systems need to be broken.
Need to be broken and revamped. Yep.
Yeah, a whole new, healthier
Mhm,
system.
mhm.
So, and you're like, here's the thing. I totally get the good side of looking past things because, again, sometimes they can protect the relationship from unnecessary battles. And again, like we talked about, not everything needs to be dragged into the ring. Looking past small stuff can teach patience, it can teach empathy, or it can remind you of your own imperfections. But even at the times where I think it can almost feel noble, like you're choosing love over pettiness. And here's the thing, sometimes that's the case. But it should not be the case when it comes to very big things. This should not be the case when it comes to things that you feel like are breaking you apart. And I think sometimes that pendulum swings too far on both sides. We have some people who are just so confrontational that they confront everything, and that is a problem, and that feels uncomfortable, and it's hard to be with around people like that. But on the other side of the pendulum, other side of the swing is like sometimes it gets to the point where you letting people just walk all over you, and it is not brave or noble, it's weak.
But isn't that where it slips into self-betrayal? Some of the bad parts about it is that it can create some types of self-betrayal. When you start like looking over things as, oh, it's a quirk, but when it's like really disrespect or even neglect or mistreatment to yourself. And
Yeah.
then you start to get to gaslighting yourself and question like, is it me? And just putting yourself as the bad guy when in actuality it's not. And you're not standing like you said, you start to
Mhm.
look weak, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Unfortunately. And then you like it mentally like eats at your trust for yourself. And also like you just lose faith. You lose faith in the people around you, as well as even having faith in yourself. Um, when it comes to certain situations. And I think that can also lead to like isolation. You just don't want to be bothered
Mhm.
or like tested to see if you're able to talk about these things.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I think about it in this way. It's like, have you ever, usually it's somebody older in your family, like an old auntie or grandma or somebody. Not all of us. Some of us had grandmas that had a new husband because the old one disappeared. But like when you hear them say something like, baby, he don't beat you. And that man come home at night.
mhm,
Okay. That's a good man. He taking care of you. Y'all need to, I think you need to go pray about that.
yeah.
And it's like, girl, at what point did you slip into stuff? But also, I think sometimes it can be hard with those because I think looking past stuff is how they had to survive.
Mm-hmm. I
Because,
think like mhm,
as a woman back in those times, I can't support a household of seven because they all had 7, 8 kids. I can't support no household of seven on my own on the type of jobs that I can get. I have to be with this man.
mhm,
I have to look past things to make
yeah,
sure my baby's eating, don't got to worry about nothing.
mhm. Yeah, but now in this day and age, it's just like we're normalizing dysfunction, but it's hard to explain that to the older generation. But
Yeah.
right now, we don't really have to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it is just normalizing dysfunction within the family and just saying like this is how we are. It doesn't have to be that way though. It doesn't have to be that way
Yeah.
at all. So no, no, no.
Yeah. And I think self-betrayal, especially when it comes to like work, because I'm gonna touch on work because I feel like this is a hard one to pin down because it could be a very depending on where you work situation when it comes to how much stuff should you look past. You know, if you like in a cartel, a lot. The answer is a lot. There's a lot of shit you need to look past. This episode is not for you. But like for other jobs, yeah, probably not. There's some stuff you need to not tolerate. And I think like this can look like for jobs is like being the team player, but it turns into them exploiting that. So instead of like, oh, I'm gonna give it to Russ. I know Russ a good worker. She gonna da, 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 da. Oh, Russ, I know you're booked. I know you're over. I know you got more clients than you agreed to take one, but could you really teach this? You're so amazing. And I, and Tina dropped out, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. We could not find a person to replace. Can you just add her caseload to yours? It goes real quickly from like, okay, no, because this is what a team player does. This is what a team player does. So I'm going to ignore it because this is for the betterment of all of us. And it can slip into that place of like, okay, now they're just explaining. Now they didn't look for nobody to cover maternity because they knew they could get you into it.
Yeah.
Now they playing with you because they know that they can't play with you.
And then
Mhm.
like for me, I think when I was doing it, I'm like, because I know they was giving me the hardest clients. And yes,
Yeah.
I could take it. Yes, I am a soft spoken person at work and always respectable. That's how I was raised to be. But
Mhm.
it was just like now y'all just running over me because y'all just know I'm going to take it. And then I was like, well, nobody else going to take it. Nobody else knows how to do it better than me. But that doesn't mean I have to be ran over to get it done.
Yeah.
And that's when I had to learn to work life balance. And that being my first job, I definitely was like letting them do
Yeah.
whatever they
Yeah.
could they want to do.
Yeah, I remember I had a job too where it was like in case case management role adjunct. And we had a team, let's say we had a team of like 10 of us. Only 4 of us ever really worked out of the 10. And so like we would work real hard and then we would like bring it up and they're like, yeah, we know we're gonna talk to them, but you guys can help out because you know how they are and they're making the whole team look bad. And so we would help out more, da da da. And then it got to a point where it was like, oh, so they're gonna pay the same pay as me. They're getting the bonuses of me because we had group bonuses. It wasn't based on individuals. So the whole team had to do good for the group to get a bonus. So we're working hard so we can all get a bonus. We're carrying this thing. We're exhausted. Some of us are coming in on the weekends. And Y'all can't even find where they are. They don't even answer the phone. They don't even answer their work phone. They don't show up to the meetings and they're getting paid the same. Again, that resentment creeps in, but not only that resentment creeps in, I work with somebody, this is that same job. And me and them work really closely. Like there's different there's different projects. And me and him were on, uh, we're gonna call them projects. Me and him were on like the same project almost the entire time that I was there. He was the supervisor of the project. So when stuff would go wrong, he would give me a call, even when it wasn't my project. It would be somebody else's project. And he'd be like, hey, I know that I need somebody I can rely on. This is going to be a big thing. It's going to be in the news. Can you? And I started doing that because he did that. Like he would jump in.
Mhm.
He would just save the day. He would be like, I know I'm supposed to do this thing, but I guess I'll add your thing to it because I don't want the whole team to look bad. And it kind of became a thing between a group of us where it's like, okay, we're the good ones. We're the ones that actually work, da 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 da. And you were exhausting ourselves. And I remember when I left that job, um, it was like a year and a half later, my boss called me and told me he died. He had a heart attack. He was young. And I just kept thinking, I don't know what his health status is, and I don't know the rest of it. But I know in my head, it really reiterated to me like, they may let that job put him on the ground because he would text me on weekends about work. He one
Mhm.
time called me. I was supposed to be on my way to Costa Rica. I didn't go because of COVID, but he didn't know that. This man was calling me, leaving me voice messages like, "Hey, Rez, I know you're on your way to Costa Rica. Um, no, you probably don't have your computer. I promise it's just gonna be a 5 minute conversation. I just need you to answer this." And I'm like, and that's because again, that's how he was. He would answer phone calls when he was on vacation. He would answer phone calls on the weekend. He would pull up on the Sunday after church to help finish making that file for Monday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
But like, look what looking past the fact that they won't just hire adequate people.
Mhm.
Look what looking past every time the ball drop is now on you. Nobody cares that you're juggling 5 balls. Nobody cares now you're juggling 8 balls. Nobody cares that the number of balls that the normal number of balls for people to juggle is 3. They will put a ninth one on you and a 10th one on you. Yeah. So if you keep looking past stuff like that, so you can stay there, it's very rarely met with reward.
Mhm.
And I think one of the things we also have to throw in here is like when you do this to the point that you are now in the area of self-betrayal, it takes no time to lose trust in yourself and trust in your own instincts. Because to do this, you have to be in constant gaslit mode.
Mhm.
You're just walking around gaslighting yourself. You're just walking around. And so now when you have to ask yourself about, okay, should I do this? Can I vote? It no longer even feels like you can trust self
Yeah.
because it felt like you should did a couple things that you did not do. And now you're in this miserable position. Can I trust what I think? That does not feel like peace. You're
Mhm.
doing all that to keep the peace, but the peace soon leaves. If you keep ignoring these things, looking past them, just to try to stay at peace with this person. It's like, why are you looking past the fact that you are doing more than you're comfortable doing to keep the peace so we can just all be happy with one another? But like,
Mhm.
you're actually not happy.
Mhm. At all.
Yeah. And you know what? I think I would throw that into one of my rule books. If actually ignoring this, can I still be happy? When I'm talking about doing that check in on like, should I do grace or should I not do grace?
Mhm.
If I ignore this, well, can I actually still be happy? Can I still live with this and be happy? Like, is it annoying now? But like, it's not, I'll be all right.
I think you need to add that in there.
Give yourself some time though, because I know me in the moment, everything feels very extreme.
That's true. You don't do
I'm a
it. You don't
Scorpio
do the
moon.
checking into extreme if
I'm
you're
a,
right. You take some time.
yeah, I'm a double Hades moon. Like, in that moment, it feels like, no, no, I don't think I can live with it.
Yeah.
He knew that was my favorite pack of bubble gum. It's like, girl, it was not that serious.
Yeah,
It
he
was
might
not
have
that
forgot.
serious.
He might.
'Cause there's definitely things I go back and look at, and I'm like, yeah, my was tripping. He right. He right.
Mhm. You know, the random thing I was thinking, like when it comes like to putting a family first or having to put
Mhm.
all this stuff, and even going back to your coworker,
Mm.
it can even mess with your health trying to take care of everybody in your family. Not
Yeah.
getting enough sleep, being faint, your body aches, all of this stuff, depression turns
Mhm.
into other stuff, stress turns into other stuff. So it's like, who's really happy here? Who's really happy?
But I agree with you. I agree with you. I know a lot of, especially young men. I knew a lot of young men who like were carrying their families and like aged them. Like, bro, we graduated at the same time. You look a good 10 years older than me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And again, if you have the money to and you're willing to, fine. But this is about when it's something you have to look past. It's something that you know it does bother me, but I have to actively choose not to address it. And
Mhm.
again, it's not to address every single thing, but it is when you realize my role in this thing is to ignore my boundaries to try to keep the peace. And I'm keeping the peace between us, but I'm not keeping the peace within me.
Mhm.
So let me ask, do you feel like as we were talking about as we were talking about resentment, do you feel like after a while, it's not even like I just resent you, I now resent myself for being quiet, like, I'm mad at me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's why I started as I got older to start trying to say stuff right when it comes to me. Because the fact that once I hold it in, I'll be pissed at myself. So I'm mad at
Yeah.
everybody. And the thing is, I don't really blame a lot of people for different things. I always blame myself. And
Mhm.
that's not a good quality to have either.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, if you would have said something a long time ago, this wouldn't have happened, or they wouldn't think that was okay. So even if they disrespect, it's just like, because I didn't tell them, if I made it clear that they could just, like, and it's not really a good thing, but I was saying all that to say, like, yeah, I do be feeling some type of way to myself too.
I, I definitely think there has been certain situations that I have, like, looked past, just being too, "Oh, you know what? Friendships." Friendships. I know there's certain friendships that I had looked past. Like I had a friend who was like one of my best friends who I love. I still to this day love. There's still like no hate in my heart. But like I look past a lot of stuff because I was like, they're going through a lot and I know their trauma and I know like we had similar traumas. And so I was like, I know this is hard, but she didn't have this that helped me. She didn't have this tool. She didn't have that. Like, you got to be easier on her. And she's going through this and blah, blah, blah. And I had to look through a lot, like the last year and a half of our friendship. And when I finally had to like walk away because I'm like, okay, you are being reckless to the point that you don't care that you're putting the rest of us in danger. I can't do this. When I kind of got some space from that thing, I was really mad at myself because I'm like, if anybody else would have tried that, you would have never let that fly.
Mhm.
Like, I felt stupid, and that's why I was mad. Like, you would have been sharper if you didn't give this person special treatment, special privileges. Why did you do that? You okay, now you look stupid. Now you look like you don't know game. Like, I got really, really mad at myself because I'm like, "You knew better. How dare you break your own boundaries like that?"
Mm. I think it's because you're so good on boundaries, but and he was like, "Girl, you did," like, you would be like, "Why would I allow this person to do it? I know I won't allow any of these other people to do it."
Mhm.
But I think it's because 'cause you're so, like, taught on your boundaries. That's probably why you got so pissed at yourself. Like,
Yeah.
how did this slip through the cracks?"
Yeah. No, that's
I think
exactly
even
it.
I was looking at you too, like, "Why that?" I
Yeah.
always be having my sidebars in my head, like, "This ain't you," but I don't be telling you this ain't you. Maybe I should say, "This ain't you, bruh." Like,
Yeah, look, pull me back, because I be hating when I get those moments where it's like but again, especially I think it's particularly harder when you're like, I'm not even a person who really be looking past stuff. So it's like, "Oh, is this a thing for you?" I know for me, I really hate when I feel like, "Damn, they got me." Like,
mhm,
I don't take getting got well. There's some people like, "Man, damn, alright, you good, you good." I am not one of those people. I don't take a
yeah.
"you got me" very lightly. I'm like, "Well, now I gotta plot against them." Alright. Vengeance and destruction.
Mhm.
And not in an evil way. I'm not blowing up nobody's car or anything. But, I definitely am a person, like, I take that really deeply, like, "Well, apparently you are stupid. Apparently you're not that smart because how we end up here, Russ."
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's you. Yeah. So when I think about all of this, I'm trying to think of like different ways to break cycles and why it's of importance that we do break this cycle. A way that can help is not saying, but is this self betrayal? You have
Yeah,
to figure it out. Like, it's like, yeah, you have to figure it out in your head, I think, to go back and forth, like, should I talk about this? Should I talk about
yeah,
this? No, how does this affect me? Is this betraying me to
yeah,
satisfy them? We're going to talk about it. And it doesn't have to be an argument. If it is an argument, it just is. Like if it's with friends,
yeah,
it's just like it's just like if they're not respecting your boundaries.
yeah.
Family, we're gonna have to have some space. Like men.
And I think again, if you one of those people like, okay, but I don't know when it's like something I should look past or something where it's like, no, I'm tripping. I can just look past this, or it's something that like, no, I need to address this. I think looking at it as is this a pattern or is this an
Mhm.
isolated incident? Now,
Mhm.
here's the thing. There are certain isolated incidents that no, you need to address right now. There's certain things where, nah, you shouldn't be having this happen 2 or 3 times. But when it comes to usually those things we know right away that is crossing our
Mhm.
boundary. But if you're like, am I tripping? Or, it's just, I don't know if I necessarily need to bring it up. If it is a pattern and every time the pattern hurts you, I don't think that's something that you can just skate by and just let be. One of the worst places to be in regards to relationship status is being with someone who you feel like you can't live without, but living with them is the most painful thing.
That's a good
Like,
point.
yeah, like I feel the need to be with you, so I'm gonna keep ignoring things. I'm gonna keep ignoring things. But like sometimes I will look at you and just cry, like, damn, you really don't give a fuck what you put me through.
But then
Mm,
I feel like they also been trained to think that these things are okay with you
mhm,
by you.
mhm. Because you keep saying, because you
Yeah.
keep putting up with it.
Or you just don't
I'm
say nothing.
yeah. I feel like that is why it's so important because when we're talking about, like, again, letting things slide to stay happy with a person, like, how many times does it actually lead to happiness, or does it just lead to not shaking up whatever the foundation of this thing is?
Mhm.
And that, again, does not mean that it's not happy. It just means, okay, we are gonna act like it's still the same because I am terrified of something causing change.
Or learning the truth. Like,
Yeah,
we're gonna sweep this under the rug because I don't wanna have a confrontation or I don't wanna talk things out. And then my reality of what I think it is not really the truth. And so
yeah,
it's just, yeah, you're not ready to hear that.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, ignoring stuff. Yeah. So no, ignoring stuff with men just I've never seen it end too well.
No, no, it does not end well at all for us
Look,
women.
but if y'all have examples, let us know because I be wanting to shut the fuck up sometimes. Like I do. I do. So if you have seen some
Yeah.
woman who's been ignoring the fuck out of things and she's actually real life happy, let me know. She's not on Lexapro. She don't cry on her office floor. Okay, let me talk to her. Let me talk to her.
Exactly.
'Cause ignoring certain things from mm, yeah, I don't see that leading to real happiness.
Mm-mm.
It can lead to presenting well.
And that is not happiness.
Yeah. I'm even thinking of like situations where like it's it's why I always say like do not beg a man to marry you. Do not beg a man to be with you. From everything that I have seen, whenever you do this, you can get him to marry you. You can get him to say yes. You can wear them down. But he will make you spend the rest of that relationship paying for it.
Mhm.
And I know I have seen situations where it's like, okay, you got him to propose. Okay, you got him to let you move in. Okay, you got him. But like, you can tell that man resent the fuck out of you. That man, y'all been together 5 years and he still don't know basic things about you. Your
And
girlfriends know what your favorite wine is. He keep picking up his ex's favorite wine. He don't. wait and go around the side and open the door for you with an umbrella when it's raining. He gets out, he runs to the door and watches you. It doesn't even wait to watch you step out and come in. Like, you know, when this person is like, he low key hit me. Janae Ioku
I think so.
or Janine Ioku. She got that song where she said, I love you enough for the both of us. That shit
Mhm.
don't work in real life.
No.
Mm, Trying to be like, okay, I don't care if he don't love me. I'm gonna love him. Especially when you get caught up in that image trap, because sometimes this is a huge thing. I feel like I see this a lot. Cut your ties as soon as you realize this is not what I thought it was gonna be. And he's not going to live up to his part. That's how I don't want to rock the boat. I want to stay happy with you and blah, blah, blah. And you think to yourself, well, it has to be working because they asked me to be their girl. It has to be working because they asked me to be their wife. It has to be working. There are so many people that are together and miserable. And here's the thing, I will put that out there. I won't even like, there are some people who are doing that. I love me the best enough for the both of us, and they're ignoring everything, and they're happy because they don't care. They just want to be with them. They just want to be with them. But the other person is miserable.
Yes.
You can't even show your girlfriends pictures of him because he looks miserable in every single picture while you cheating.
Mhm.
It ends to misery on at least one side, if not both. And I
Mhm.
don't think that's worth it. Is that really happiness? Is that what you really want for yourself? A life that looks good on Instagram, a life that looks like, oh, but now I can tell all my girlfriends I'm married. It's like one of the big ones I know I've seen, especially my ladies that have been in long ass relationships, and that man studying the post, it's like, no, because I want to prove a point, or I need this to be shown that this was not worth my time. All you about to do is waste more time. All you're about to do is waste more time. I was engaged at one point in time and I knew I should have went through with it. And even when I got proposed to, like my first instinct was not to say yes. My first instinct was like, girl, wait, back up. And I said yes. And we were, and again, that resentment
Mhm.
because I was not planning shit. I did not plan to people start questioning, why aren't you planning anything? Why have you been like excited to put on your go get a wedding dress? Why aren't you like, that's when I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. I was just like, they're like, hey, ain't you engaged? Fuck. Yeah, yeah, thanks. And I promise y'all this data point. But like I remember I got to a point where I was just like, to be with this person, for me personally, they're an amazing person, they're a great person. But like I had ignored so many things. And I got to a point where I was like, I can't do this. And I
Mhm.
have so many women in my life, mostly older women, but I have so many women in my life that told me, well, just marry him anyway. So you can at least say you're an ex-wife and not a baby mom. Do not talk yourself into things because of how it looks. I actually had one of the people who told me that that's what they did. They went ahead, they married the person, horrible like 2 or 3 years.
Mhm.
That scarred them and got made it to the point that they could not co-parent easily. I and was sitting there like, "No, you can do it. It's okay." Yeah, I don't want misery. If I know this is a bad idea, I don't want to force myself. I don't wanna just do this thing so I can say I did it. I wanna do
Yeah.
this thing to prove a point to other people,
Mhm.
and I am so happy. I am so, so happy I walked away from that again. I know someone who was in a relationship who they had to look past so many things, and they've decided to stay. They decided to stay because we live together, because I mean, we already put in this many years, blah, blah, blah. When I tell you that shit aged the fuck out of them, like by
Mhm.
the time they finally got in them to walk away, that thing aged the fuck out of them. They look way older than they were. You could tell the stress in them
Yeah.
of trying
Yeah.
to keep that thing together.
Mhm.
And they will be the first person I tell you, like, I should have been left. I thought being able to say, I'm in this relationship, I'm in this, da, 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 was worth it. But all that looking past caught up with me.
Mhm. It always does. Yeah.
Yeah. And just before like we like wrap up again, one of those things going back to, is this something that I should give grace to, or is this something that like I cannot look past because this is a big deal? Also, you can just ask yourself, am I ignoring this because it's small? Or am I ignoring this because I'm scared of the truth? Am I ignoring this because this is temporary and insignificant in the long run? Or am I ignoring it because I don't like the actions I'm going to have to take if I address this? There's a thing I'm going to have to do, and I don't want to do that thing. That's how you know, depending on your yes or no, am I just ignoring this elephant in the room just to stay happy with you? And am I doing it at the cost of self? For some people, it's like, you don't know how much I look past to stay happy with you. But one day, you won't be able to unsee it anymore.
Mm.
So, with that said, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Again, we are on every other Sunday for the fall. But if you follow us on Instagram, we still post the memes. We'll still post some reels and stuff. We are still very much active on there. Our Instagram is She Wolf Alchemy. Be sure to like, share, follow us, leave us a review, leave us a review with some words, and we will be back with you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.